Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. So tonight, Aquarius, we have the Queen of Discs. And this is the Earth Mama, right? She is the one that, well, this is where you get the materials to create, right? And I always think of like sculpting like a golem out of clay, a homunculus. This is where the magician goes to get the things that they need to do the magic. If you could think of a magician as somebody who creates the whole world, right? This is where you go to get your materials. And she knows her way around a hardware store, that's for sure. But I do love this energy. I'm a Virgo, so I always feel like this is really is so much the realm that I want to dwell in. Also, I'm a ascendant Capricorn, so it all works together perfectly. But I love seeing this within Aquarius because I feel like you all are so independent, so individual, and so just kind of like self-sufficient. Okay, sometimes almost to a fault. It can get to a point where it's almost kind of like, hey, sometimes you need to ask for help, you know, that's okay if you need some help. But there really just is. There's this, like, why wait for somebody else to do it when I can do it right now? You know, that's the attitude of an Aquarius. So I love seeing this energy. Now, we're going to spin this thing around real quick, and then we're going to tap on it. We knock to be polite. At least that's my theory. All right. So let's take a look and see what these tea leaves are going to show us. And I want to thank you so much for deciding to click on this reading and check it out. If this is your first time watching a tea leaf reading, maybe you've never seen one or even heard of one, super duper welcome to you. Thank you for being brave. And if you're returning, welcome home. It's so nice to see you again. All right. So I want to look over here. It looks like we have, it reminds me very much of, there are these beautiful Aboriginal paintings. They're so gorgeous, and I wish, I don't know about copyright stuff for the channel, so I'm not going to show you. But if you look up Aboriginal paintings, cave paintings, and they almost look like maybe like aliens or shadowy people. They're very beautiful images. Lots of them. There's tons of them. So go and look that up if you're interested. But this one right here, you can see the eyes. To me, it reminds me of The Watcher. Okay? And this is not unlike, maybe like shadow people, maybe like even the Green Man, right? Have you ever seen the Green Man? It's kind of a face of a man, usually with a beard, and maybe even kind of has leaves coming out of the sides of their face. Maybe there's one that's really beautiful. It's like their whole, their face is one huge leaf or whatever. What I think of when I think of the Green Man is when you're standing somewhere like in a clearing and you're looking out at the tree line and your mind, I think it's called parabolia, which I should know because I read tea leaves, right? But basically our minds are equipped to look for things that look like faces. Patterns that look like faces. So that's why we see faces in the clouds, and you know, you look at a piece of wood and you see little faces, and when you look out at the tree line and it looks like there's a face out there looking back at you, right? And this is the energy of the watcher. So it seems to me that you have a watcher in your life. Now, I don't think that this is a human being. I don't even know that this is a intelligence at all. But it could be, right? I feel like you have perceived this energy in your home, okay? So maybe it feels like somebody has been kind of watching over you, or you kind of sense the presence of another person in your home or another being or whatever. But maybe not. Maybe it's coming through in dreams. I feel like this is showing itself to us so it can confirm to you that you're not going crazy. You're not thinking that you're feeling things and they're not really happening. No. There's something lingering around, okay? So, and I'm not trying to scare you. I don't think this is nefarious. Let me just say that. Next to, on either side, we have two hierophants, okay? Now, why do I think this? Because it looks like we have humanoid bodies and the heads look like animals. Okay, so that tells me this is probably the Hierophant. And why? Because the high priest often wears masks, right? Costumes for their operations and ceremonies and rituals. And so I feel like there must be a calling to magic in your life. I feel like maybe you grew up around somebody who was involved in the occult. Maybe it's even a family. It doesn't really even have to be the occult, really. It could be religion of some kind, right? I mean, after all, a lot of these religions, especially the Abrahamic religions, all are derived, or at least some of, derive practices from old religions, old systems, the mysteries, the, the different, what they consider, low, tribal, folk belief systems and so on, right? So I feel like I almost feel like you have been called to partake in your spiritual system, your religious system. So, like, what does that mean? So, if you're like a Christian, for instance, right? You're, I don't know which... I'm sorry. I don't know which sect has what, right? I know Catholicism, right? Or even like Orthodoxy. It's priests. But like as far as you get into ministers and preachers and, pastors and all that, I forget who belongs where to what, right? But maybe it could be that you have been called to serve within the church. Right? Your faith has shown you that it's not just being, part of the congregation. You don't want to just be a spectator here. You want to be involved in the system, right? In the hierarchy, in the workings. And I'm just going to say of the temple. It doesn't have to be a temple, but right? Within this collective. And so maybe it is. And maybe you start out volunteering. Maybe you start, going and just watching. And then slowly getting involved. Finding things that you can be of assistance with and so on. But I do feel like, Aquarius, you are finding something in your life that really, I don't know that this is so much about the congregation or the fellowship or community, although that's part of it. But I feel like for you, this is about finding that meaning in your life, right? And activating a part of yourself that you know is so prominent that maybe you haven't allowed yourself to really indulge in. And so I see this being a really particularly powerful time in your life because you're meeting your faith once more. Okay. Now, I also keep looking at this and it looks like it's O-M or E-M. It could be M. It could be Om. Okay. Maybe that is a mantra for you. Okay. Let's see. So it feels like there's a calling to the sky to maybe witness it. It feels like you are somebody that maybe enjoys looking at the stars. And I feel like this is, maybe it's something that you've kind of, that you have fallen away from. And it says her, H-E-R. So I almost kind of feel like maybe you abandon some of your favorite things to be doing, like going out, maybe having a fire, drinking some coffee, looking at the stars. But I think it's because there's been a friendship or maybe a relationship of some kind. Maybe this is, your daughter, your mother, somebody that you've been helping with, you've been spending more time with. But I feel like this is going to be kind of coming to an end, or at least not being so frequent, your involvement with this person. So I feel like it's kind of like time is freeing itself up. Okay. And you're maybe thinking like, well, what the heck am I going to do now? I've been, helping with my mom for the last 5 years. And that's like I have no extra time. So now I have all this time. What am I going to do? But I feel like the sky for some reason really calling for you. We have a large W as well. So maybe a W name. And just a little smiley face down here. So I do feel like overall there seems to be quite a bit of happiness kind of floating around. Oh, Ed. E-D. Ed. Eddie, maybe. We also have an armadillo, which immediately makes me think of Texas. So maybe we have an Ed that has something to do with Texas. Maybe this Eddie, is like a Cowboys fan. Maybe that's where they're from. Maybe they went to school there. Maybe they were in the military and they went to boot camp down there. I don't know. But we have Ed and we have Texas, or at least the South. Well, it's not really the Southwest, but the southern portion of the western side of America. What else? We have Alpha, Omega, Alpha. The beginning, the end, the beginning. It reminds me of build, destroy, build, destroy. And maybe that's what it is. It feels almost like this reminding you what you build, you can and must destroy at some point, right? We have to break down the old constructs so that we can continue to build and evolve and break that down and start again, right? Starting to build something even more fortified. So I do feel like at times maybe you lament the cycles of life and this feeling, this burden of this thing's ending and now I have to start with this whole other thing. I don't want to do it. But I feel like in this time in your life, there is an excitement. You're meeting this beginning with courage, with inspiration, with joy, excitement, fear, a little bit of fear in there. We have to have, I don't know about you, Aquarius, but I need a dose of fear in all things I do, because that's the thing that really keeps me going, right? I remember when I was a kid, well, I was in my early 20s, I never really learned how to clean, right? I was never really taught very basic things, but I was never really like trained to have a schedule of cleaning. I basically just went out in the world ill-equipped, right? And a lot of that was my fault as well. You know, I was not the kid that was like offering up assistance, right? And I also have ADHD, so it was, you know, a little tricky. But so you go out into the world, at least I did. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I had no idea. But I had to learn, right? I had to learn. And the biggest thing, and I was trying to remember where I was going with this. The biggest thing, and this is a little bit of fear, right? The biggest thing that got me going to know how to clean was when I knew the landlord was coming. If we were having an inspection, which back then it seemed like a lot, because probably, you know, the landlord's going to check in more when you have a bunch of roommates. And I was one of those people. I always had a ton of roommates. And that's how I really started to get motivated, that dose of fear, to start keeping my stuff together, right? And it took more years. It took probably till I was almost 30 to like have a full cleaning routine. But yeah, sometimes that little dose of fear, it gets us a long way, right? Now, we also have a star right in the middle. We also have an M, okay? And oh, the fish, we have four fish. It looks like with the star is the goal. That's right in the middle. Now with the fish, we know fish equal money. They're resources, right? And it seems like there's going to be an abundance of resources coming in for you. Now, I feel like this maybe will be something that some kind of opportunity given to you by somebody that you know that has an M name. Now, we also have a phone, so I can see them kind of reaching out to you. Maybe you haven't talked in some time, but they will be getting a hold of you. They have some kind of, I don't know, a business, a job opportunity, a side hustle, whatever it is. It will bring in money. Okay, we're going to do 3 lucky numbers. 93. Ah, the luckiest number. Agape. All right. 93. Number 6. 92. Nice. We have 93, 6, and 92. Now, we'll finish off with our self-care affirmation cards. And I'll just flip through, stop where it feels right. And we have energy of play. I make time for play. I nurture my inner child. As I play, I am renewed with the energy of play. I cultivate an environment of fun at work, at home, and with my friends. Wonderful. Well, Aquarius, I'm going to wrap things up here. I need to go have a glass of kombucha before I get on with the rest of my day. My afternoon, I say tonight, where I'm like reading at night. Today it's actually in the afternoon, the early afternoon. And I always have my one glass of kombucha in the afternoon after I've done all my exercising and chores for the day. So I'm always excited for that. I don't know, the one that I've started to get is like it has like blackberries and strawberries and so divine, so good. So I do. I have to hurry up and go get that before I have to go out back into the world and do some shopping and stuff. But I want to tell you I love you. I thank you. If you want to like the video, subscribe to the channel, or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. I was just saying on my last reading, I read all the comments and I remember all of you, which is wild because if I met you in real life, I would not remember your name. I'm so bad at names. I'm pretty good at remembering faces, but for whatever reason, probably because I grew up online from like 13 up, I'm really good at remembering profile pictures and like the screen name, and then I can remember all of the stuff you share. There are so many people that have been on the channel here for like a year or two and have shared throughout the months, like about their life. And I remember your whole life, like everything you share, I remember. So I just want you to know that. I don't always comment back on every single one. I used to try to, it's just so much now. But I want you to know I do read every single comment. So if you do want to reach out to me, you can do it on there. I get emails too. A lot of emails. People don't always want to do their sharing publicly. You can always reach out to me at ulaishere@gmail.com. Also, that's where if you want to get a private reading, the details for that are in the description. What is that word? The description for each video. But yeah, other than that, again, I love you. I love you. I love you. We'll talk in a few days. Good night.